Joining me is the opposition leader, Peter Dutton. Thank you for your time. You've had the race card played against you.
Thanks, Henry.
Are you a racist?
No, of course not. Complete opposite of a racist, and I think my track record demonstrates that for many, many years. As Immigration Minister, as Home Affairs Minister, I brought in people on a non-discriminatory basis, but they were people who were, I believe, going to do the right thing by our country. And all I'm advocating for here is a program, a migration program that's going to work in our best interests, in our national interest, and I'm not going to shy away from that. The left can throw all sorts of tags and try and distract as they do, but they can't argue the substance, the substantive issue here. And the Prime Minister can't deny the fact that he's changed his policy to allow people into our country who can be sympathisers of a listed terrorist organisation.
It's interesting, that last point. The whole cat was let out of the bag on Sunday by the ASIO boss, Mike Burgess, who just blurted out, yes, that is what we're doing. The Prime Minister today refused to deny that it is what we're doing. He refused to deny that he wanted this to happen. Is Mike Burgess on a frolic of his own? Is this his assessment, letting people who are terrorist Hamas supporters? Or do you think it comes from the Prime Minister?
Well, Andrew, I think Mike Burgess is a first-class public servant. I appointed him when I was Minister for Home Affairs to be the Director-General of ASIO, and he serves his country with great distinction. But he can only act within the law and within the direction given to him by the government. The government has taken a policy change and they've implemented a very radical change, that is that they will allow people in who are sympathisers with a terrorist organisation that has just committed the greatest atrocity against people of Jewish faith since the Holocaust, where 6 million people were gassed. That is a very radical departure, never explained to the Australian public before the last election. And I don't think the Prime Minister's got the first clue when it comes to how to make tough decisions and how to make decisions that are appropriate and right for our country when it comes to national security.
Well, I tell you what, he didn't seem to have much clue about, or maybe it was deliberate, which I rather suspect. The Prime Minister today misquoted that ASIO boss, Mike Burgess, to falsely imply that ASIO was checking all the Palestinian refugees coming here. I've shown the grabs, I've made clear that there was a deceit here, or at least a misquotation. In your opinion, was that misquoting by Albanese of the ASIO boss accidental or deliberate?
There's no doubt in my mind that it was a deliberate misquoting because, Andrew, sometimes you can read a quote from somebody and you can take 3 out of 5 sentences, leave out the first and leave out the last or whatever it might be, but you're providing a full quote and a direct quote of what somebody has said. But what the PM did here was he read out a sentence but excluded part of that sentence, and he skipped over the words which gave the qualification that Mike Burgess gave during his interview on the weekend. And by doing that, the Prime Minister made Mike Burgess's words look like they were supporting the position that the Prime Minister gave in question time yesterday. That is, that ASIO was checking every person who came through this process. And I think it was a deliberate step. It meant that the Prime Minister had an opportunity to clarify it in Parliament today. He refused to do that. I've never seen somebody in that chair as Prime Minister be accused of deliberately misleading the Parliament in my 20-odd years in this Parliament. And it's without precedent that the Prime Minister of the day wouldn't be standing up and fiercely defending his or her position. So I think the Prime Minister has an open and shut case against him here, and it is probably the most serious case that you can make against a sitting member of Parliament is that they've deliberately misled the Parliament, but that is exactly what the Prime Minister has done.